Good evening, everyone. My name is the Sleepy Doctor. And tonight, I invite you to close your eyes, relax your breathing, and let me take you on a long, gentle journey. A journey across time, across myth, and into the shadows of forgotten history. We will wander together into the story of a place that may have existed, or may only have been a dream. A city of beauty, power, and mystery. The lost city of Atlantis. So settle in. Let the weight of the day slide off your shoulders. And let the quiet rhythm of my voice carry you deeper and deeper into the world of legends. The story of Atlantis begins not with explorers or maps, but with a philosopher. A man whose words have echoed across 2,500 years, Plato. Around 360 years before the birth of Christ, Plato wrote two dialogues, Timaeus and Critias. Within them, he told the tale of a great island civilization, beyond the Pillars of Hercules, what we now call the Strait of Gibraltar. Plato described a mighty land, larger than Libya and Asia combined, filled with palaces and temples, canals and harbors, gold and ivory. It was a kingdom of astonishing wealth and unmatched power. And yet, it fell. It was swallowed by the sea, in a single day and night of misfortune. For Plato, Atlantis was both a story and a warning, a vision of human greatness and human arrogance, a tale of how pride can bring down even the most radiant of civilizations. But was it history or allegory? Was Plato preserving a memory of something real, or was he teaching a lesson wrapped in myth? To understand Atlantis, we must first understand Plato's world. He lived in Athens, a city recovering from war, dreaming of order and wisdom. His teacher, Socrates, had been executed by the state. His student, Aristotle, would later teach Alexander the Great. Plato was not merely a philosopher. He was a storyteller, a weaver of ideas. And he often used myths to express truths too large for ordinary words. So when he spoke of Atlantis, some say he was speaking of a real memory, perhaps passed down by Egyptian priests, who told of an island swallowed by the sea. Others believe he invented it as a moral tale, warning Athens of what happens when power grows unchecked. And yet, even if Atlantis began as philosophy, its image was so vivid, so haunting, that people could not forget it. The lost city began to live a life of its own. Let us imagine it as Plato described it. Close your eyes and picture a vast island in the ocean. At its heart, a great plain, fertile, green, crisscrossed with canals. In the center, a hill, crowned with a magnificent city. There, the Atlanteans built rings of land and sea, concentric circles connected by bridges. Each ring guarded by walls plated in precious metals, one of bronze, one of tin, and one gleaming with orichalcum, a mysterious red gold alloy now lost to time. In the center stood a temple to Poseidon, god of the sea. A colossal statue of the god himself, driving 6 winged horses, towered above all. The Atlanteans worshipped him as their protector, their father, their giver of the ocean's bounty. The city shone with light, wealth, and life. Harbors bustled with ships. Fields overflowed with grain. Animals, wild and tame, roamed freely. And in every direction there was beauty and order. But power breeds ambition. And ambition, when unchecked, breeds downfall. Plato tells us the Atlanteans grew proud. They stretched their empire across the seas. They sought to dominate other lands, including Greece itself. But the gods do not smile forever. Zeus, king of the heavens, saw their arrogance. And in his judgment, Atlantis was struck down. The island shook with earthquakes. The seas rose in fury. And in a single day and night, the great city disappeared beneath the waves. Lost, gone, yet never forgotten. For centuries, scholars debated, what was Plato's purpose? Some insisted it was pure allegory, a teaching story about the dangers of hubris. Others suspected a grain of truth hidden within the tale. Could Plato have been echoing memories of an ancient catastrophe? Perhaps a great volcanic eruption, or the flooding of a vanished land? Could Atlantis be history twisted by myth? The mystery has endured, because the story is too rich, too haunting to dismiss. And so the search for Atlantis began. a search that has lasted more than 2,000 years. And tonight, we will follow that search, step by step, across oceans and centuries. From Plato's Athens, to the ruins of Crete, to the distant shores of the Atlantic itself. But for now, let us rest in the memory of Plato's words. A city of circles, shining with gold, then swallowed by the sea. A warning, a dream, or perhaps, a truth waiting to be rediscovered. If you are enjoying this journey so far, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to The Sleepy Doctor. I release new stories and explorations several times each week. Gentle journeys for your mind, your imagination, and your dreams. Now we step deeper. The name of Atlantis lingers like a shadow, but every shadow is cast from something. A shape, a truth, perhaps still hidden. And so we ask, where was it? Where did this city of gold and fire, this empire of pride and punishment, truly stand? Some say it lies beneath our feet. Others claim it waits beyond the horizon. And even now the sea holds her silence. Let us begin in the Aegean Sea, where blue waters hide black scars. On the island of Santorini, once called Thera, there was a thriving world. A people who built tall houses, painted their walls with leaping dolphins, and feasted beneath skies that seemed eternal. But beneath their island slept a giant, a volcano, restless, patient. And when it awoke, it tore the island apart with a scream of fire. The sea boiled. The sky turned black. Ash fell like snow upon distant lands. And waves taller than temples devoured the coastlines. Can you see it? A city crumbling, mothers clutching children, the ground opening beneath their feet, and the sea, always the sea, swallowing all. Is this not Plato's story? A mighty people drowned in a single day and night? And then further south lies Crete, where the Minoans ruled an empire of ships. They worshipped the bull, they danced in labyrinths, and their palaces glowed with red and gold. But when Thera erupted, Crete too was struck down. Trade collapsed, crops failed, and the empire fell into silence. Santorini and Crete, two fragments of a legend. Perhaps Atlantis was never one place, but a memory of this double catastrophe, passed down like a haunting dream. But some say Plato meant exactly what he wrote, that Atlantis was beyond the Pillars of Hercules, beyond Gibraltar into the Atlantic Ocean. There the sea grows endless, heavy and cold, and upon it rise the Azores, lonely peaks of volcanic stone. Even today in storms the ocean roars around them like a beast. Sailors once whispered that these islands were the mountain tops of a lost land, the last survivors of a drowned continent. Stand upon their cliffs, listen to the waves crash below, and it is easy to feel the breath of something vast and forgotten, lurking just beneath the surface. And further still, in the Caribbean, whispers speak of strange shapes beneath the water. The Bimini Road, rows of massive stones, lying like a drowned pathway. Are they natural formations? Or are they the broken streets of a city swallowed by the sea? No diver returns without questions. The ocean guards her secrets with salt and silence. And yet, some believe Atlantis never drowned at all. In the heart of the Sahara Desert, there lies a formation known as the Eye of the Sahara. A vast swirl of rock 40 kilometers wide, like rings carved into the earth by a giant's hand. From the sky it looks like Plato's very words, concentric circles of land and water. A city now turned to stone. Once the Sahara was green, fertile, alive. Rivers flowed, lakes shimmered, animals roamed free. Could Atlantis have stood there? Only to be buried not by the sea, but by sand, endless, merciless sand? The desert is as unforgiving as the ocean. It buries, it hides, it erases. And in its silence, one might almost hear the echo of waves. Waves that never were. So where was Atlantis? Perhaps in the Aegean, shattered by fire. Perhaps in the Atlantic, drowned by the abyss. Perhaps in the desert, turned to dust and silence. Or perhaps everywhere. For each theory is like a mirror, showing us not only where Atlantis might have been, but what we fear to lose. Our cities, our triumphs, our very memory. And yet, the mystery does not end here. Because while scholars searched the seas and deserts, others searched the soul. Mystics, prophets, and dreamers began to whisper that Atlantis was not just a city, but a key to forgotten wisdom. That it was a place where ancient powers once walked, and where secrets too dangerous for our time still lie waiting. In our next step, we enter that world. The world of hidden histories, of visions and prophecies, of Atlantis as more than stone. Atlantis as a cradle of ancient magic. If your heart races a little faster, if you feel the pull of the unknown, then join me again. And do not forget to like this video and subscribe to The Sleepy Doctor. I bring you new mysteries, new histories, and new secrets several times a week. Together we will drift into the dark and discover what waits beyond the veil. Atlantis was not only a place of stone and sea, it became something more. A symbol, a dream, a whisper carried through the centuries, not by sailors or scholars, but by mystics. In the late 19th century, a woman named Helena Blavatsky emerged. She was the founder of Theosophy, a movement that sought hidden truths behind all religions. Blavatsky spoke of Atlantis as a cradle of ancient wisdom, a home to a race of powerful beings, half divine, half human. To her, Atlantis was not just history, it was destiny. She believed its people had mastered energies, powers of the mind, secrets of the stars. And when Atlantis fell, much of that wisdom was lost. Yet fragments survived, hidden in secret schools, waiting for seekers brave enough to find them. Later came Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet of America. While in trance, Cayce spoke of Atlantis again and again. He claimed its people had advanced technology, crystals that harnessed energy, flying machines, even weapons that could control the earth itself. Cayce prophesied that Atlantis would rise again, its ruins emerging near the Bahamas, around the year 1968 or 1969, and so divers went searching. And when the Bimini Road was discovered in 1968, many believed Cayce's words had come true. Was it coincidence? Or had the sleeping prophet glimpsed something real? Mystics turned Atlantis into a living myth, not just a lost city, but a lost age, a time when humanity was closer to the gods, and when the boundary between spirit and matter was thin as mist. Some say souls alive today once walked the streets of Atlantis, that we carry within us memories of that world, echoes of its fall, and a yearning to rebuild its light. But what of science? If Atlantis was real, surely some trace must remain. One of the strongest candidates is the eruption of Thera, as we have already seen. The devastation of Santorini and the decline of the Minoan civilization fit many details of Plato's tale. But there are other mysteries. In Japan, beneath the waters near Yonaguni, lie vast stone structures, steps, platforms, and pillars. Some believe they are natural formations. Others insist they are ruins crafted by human hands long ago. In the North Sea lies Doggerland, once a rich land connecting Britain to Europe. 10,000 years ago, it was drowned by rising seas as the Ice Age ended. Fishermen still pull ancient tools, bones, and mammoth tusks from its depths. A real Atlantis, lost not to myth but to climate. And in the Caribbean, the Bimini Road remains. Stones aligned like pathways beneath shallow waters. Geologists see natural rock. Believers see the first streets of Atlantis. Science offers explanations. Yet science also shows us that civilizations do vanish. Volcanoes, earthquakes, floods. Again and again the earth has swept away entire peoples. And each time memory lingers as story. Perhaps Atlantis is not alone. Perhaps it is one of many lost worlds. Atlantis did not remain in philosophy or mysticism. It entered art, literature, and film. During the Renaissance, explorers and map-makers spoke of hidden islands in the Atlantic. Atlantis became a symbol of discovery, of the lands waiting beyond the horizon. Writers such as Jules Verne imagined Atlantis as a place of wonder beneath the sea. Later, in the 20th century, films, novels, and even comic books turned Atlantis into a kingdom of fantasy, sometimes utopian, sometimes sinister. It became a mirror for our hopes and fears, a paradise or a warning, a dream of what we might build, and what we might lose. But beyond geography, beyond science and story, Atlantis has always meant something deeper. It is the story of hubris, of human pride rising too high. It is the reminder that all empires fall. Rome fell. The Maya cities were swallowed by the jungle. Babylon crumbled to dust. Atlantis is all of these and more. It is the memory of loss that all peoples carry. It is the whisper that nothing lasts forever. Yet it is also hope. For every fall is followed by renewal. Every ruin is followed by rebirth. And perhaps every dream of Atlantis calls us not to mourn, but to build wisely, humbly, so that we do not repeat its fate. Throughout the world, the ocean hides secrets. Not just Atlantis, but many forgotten lands. Consider the legend of Kumari Kandam in the Indian Ocean, a sunken kingdom said to have once stretched across vast lands, where ancient sages taught wisdom now lost to time. Or the Pacific tales of Mu or Lemuria, civilizations said to have thrived before being drowned beneath rising waters. Every culture seems to whisper of a world swallowed by the sea. Could Atlantis be only one of many? Could the ocean be a vast library of drowned histories, each one waiting for rediscovery? As you drift to sleep, imagine the seabed not as barren sand, but as a silent city, columns, arches, streets, all cloaked in coral and darkness, where only the fish remember the names of kings. Some seekers believe Atlantis was not just connected to the earth, but to the heavens. Ancient texts and mystical traditions whisper that the Atlanteans studied the stars, mapping not only the skies but their energies, that their temples aligned with constellations, their wisdom tied to the movements of the cosmos. Even today, ruins like Stonehenge, the pyramids of Egypt, and the temples of South America align with the sun and stars in ways too precise to be coincidence. Was Atlantis part of this ancient network of skywatchers? Did they look up to Orion, to Sirius, to the Pleiades, and see not just distant suns, but guides, teachers, even origins? Some even claim Atlantis itself may not have been entirely of this earth, but a gift from beyond the stars. Close your eyes now, and listen. What do you hear? The ocean has its own voice, a rhythm, a pulse, eternal and patient. Scientists tell us that the sea floor rumbles with earthquakes, vents hiss with fire, and currents whisper like winds beneath the surface. But in every age people have listened deeper. Fishermen hear songs in the waves. Sailors tell of ghostly bells, of whispers in the wind. Could these be echoes of Atlantis? The cries of a city that still dreams beneath the sea? Sometimes at night, strange lights flicker deep below. Are they nothing but natural fire? Or the lanterns of a people not entirely gone? The ocean speaks in riddles, and Atlantis may be its greatest secret. Atlantis is not only about the past, it is also about us. Plato's story was a warning that arrogance, greed, and power without wisdom bring destruction. Look at our world today. Rising seas, shifting climates, cities growing, glittering, yet fragile. Are we building our own Atlantis? Are we walking the same path, dreaming of invincibility, while the earth waits, silent, patient, ready to remind us of her power? Perhaps Atlantis was not a story of long ago, but a prophecy. Perhaps it falls again and again, each time humanity forgets humility. But there is hope, for memory is warning, and warning can become wisdom, if we listen. Atlantis is remembered not only as a city of marble and gold, but as a place where knowledge itself was alive. Legends whisper that its people were masters of arts we can barely imagine, that they had learned to control energy, to heal the body with sound, to bend light and crystal into tools that could shape the world. This is not history as we know it. It is history that lies beneath the skin of myth. History told not in ruins but in riddles. The story begins with Plato, yes, but it did not end with him. Through the centuries, others claimed that Atlantis was a cradle of secrets, and that fragments of its wisdom survived, hidden in temples, scrolls, and even in our blood. Think of the great monuments of the ancient world. The pyramids of Egypt, aligned so perfectly with the stars. The colossal stones of Baalbek, too vast for our tools today. The knowledge of the Maya, predicting eclipses centuries in advance. Were these simply human genius? Or were they the echoes of a memory, gifts carried from a world that had fallen? Many traditions say the survivors of Atlantis fled, carrying their knowledge across the seas. Some came to Egypt, some to South America, others to distant Asia. Everywhere they went, they built monuments that defy time. Everywhere they went, they whispered of a golden age now gone. And so, Atlantis may not be lost entirely. Its body drowned, but its voice scattered. A whisper carried by stone and star, waiting for us to listen. Among the most enduring legends of Atlantis is that of the power crystals. Mystics like Edgar Cayce spoke of vast towers crowned with crystals, drawing energy from the earth and sky. They glowed with light. They hummed with power. And they were used to heal, to guide ships, even to fly through the air. The crystals, it is said, stored the very lifeblood of the planet. But with great power comes great danger. As the Atlanteans grew arrogant, they turned their crystals into weapons. They drew too deeply, burned too brightly, and in their hunger for control they unbalanced the world. The earth shook, the seas rose, and the crystals that once gave life became the instruments of destruction. Even now, some believe fragments of these crystals remain, buried in the seabed, hidden in caves, occasionally washing ashore as strange, glowing stones. Modern science speaks of piezoelectricity, the ability of quartz to generate energy. Our watches, our radios, our very technology rely on crystals. Could it be that we are only rediscovering what Atlantis once mastered? And if so, what lies ahead? Are we repeating their steps? And if we are, will we also repeat their fall? Beyond machines, Atlantis was said to hold secrets of the spirit. Their healers, the legends claim, could mend bone and flesh not with metal blades, but with sound, light, and thought. They understood the body as a temple of energy, a river of currents flowing between spirit and matter. Imagine lying upon a crystal bed, as waves of gentle sound ripple through your body, washing away sickness, fear, and pain. Imagine walking through a hall where colored lights bend around you, each hue a note in the symphony of healing. Were these visions pure imagination? Or could they be memories of real practices, lost when Atlantis sank beneath the sea? In dreams, some say fragments return. There are people even today who claim to remember lives in Atlantis, souls reborn, carrying shards of forgotten wisdom. They speak of temples glowing with blue fire, of fountains that restored youth, of teachers who could move mountains with thought alone. And while science may dismiss these tales, one cannot deny the hunger they reveal, the yearning for a time when knowledge was not separate from spirit, but one and the same. Perhaps the greatest legend of all is the Library of Atlantis. It is said that before the fall, the Atlanteans stored their wisdom in vast archives. Scrolls, crystals, tablets, records of every science, every art. Some believe these libraries still exist, sealed in chambers beneath the ocean floor. Others whisper they are hidden beneath the paws of the Sphinx in Egypt, or within the temples of forgotten lands. The idea of a hidden library haunts us still, for knowledge is power, and forbidden knowledge is the most powerful of all. Imagine walking into such a hall. The air is cool, the walls carved in spirals of stone. Shelves upon shelves glow faintly with crystal light. There are maps of the stars, machines we do not understand, histories of ages before ours. A silence so deep you can hear your own breath. And somewhere in those shadows, a voice whispers, "Remember." Perhaps the fall of Atlantis was not the end. Perhaps it was a test. Perhaps the knowledge waits for us to be ready, to seek it not with pride, but with humility. And maybe that is why the legend endures. Because in some hidden corner of our soul, we already know, we were there. We lost it, and we long to find it again. and so our journey ends. We have walked the streets of Plato's imagination, sailed across the oceans of possibility, wandered deserts and ruins, and listened to the voices of prophets and dreamers. Was Atlantis real? Perhaps. Perhaps not. But sometimes a story can be more real than stone, because it lives within us, guiding us, warning us, inspiring us. Maybe Atlantis was never one city, but all cities, never one fall, but the fate that waits for all who forget humility. And maybe, just maybe, it still lies beneath the waves, waiting, watching, until the world is ready. If you enjoyed this journey, I invite you to like this video and subscribe to The Sleepy Doctor. I share new stories, mysteries, and histories several times a week to guide you into sleep and into dreams of forgotten worlds. Until next time, rest well and dream of Atlantis.